Welcome to episode 397 of the AM/PM podcast. This week, my guest is Gracey Ryback. Gracey is one of the top influencers when it comes to the Amazon space, finding deals on Amazon. She grew an audience during the pandemic to 1.3 plus million followers on TikTok. She's become one of the sellers' top go-to people when it comes to how do you deal with influencers or actually getting things done. Gracey's in the $1 billion Seller's Dream 100 as well. This episode we talk about everything influencer marketing, how she got her start, how things work, what her thoughts are on where it's going. It's a really good episode, and Gracey's always a lot of fun. Enjoy this talk with Gracey.
Welcome to the AM/PM podcast. Welcome to the AM/PM podcast, where we explore opportunities in e-commerce.
We dream big and we discover what's working right now.
Plus, this is the podcast where money never sleeps, working around the clock in the AM and the PM.
Are you ready for today's episode?
I said, are you ready? Let's do this. Here's your host, Kevin King. Kevin King.
Gracey Ryback, it's such a pleasure to have such a beautiful, smiling, happy person on the AM/PM podcast. How are you doing?
Good. Thank you for having me, Kevin. What a beautiful smiling face right back at me.
If you're not familiar with Gracey, then you're selling in the Amazon world, or you're a woman or a man that likes to shop, then you've been living under a rock because Gracey is one of the top influencers in the Amazon space. You know, there's a lot of people out there. There's the big names like Mr. Beast and the Kardashians and all this kind of stuff. But when it comes to someone that really hones in and focuses on the Amazon, especially e-commerce, but especially Amazon, there's no one more involved, I don't think, than you when it comes to that.
Thank you. That means a lot. I appreciate that.
So, I mean, you got into this. What your background is actually in sales, right? So this is not something that you just kind of started doing. Your background, you're working in sales before this, right?
Not for too long. Yeah. In college, I actually studied like a mix of psychology and business. So I kind of double majored. And at the time, I always just wanted to do business, and I thought sales at the very basic level was how to get into business. Like sales equals business. So I figured I'd get some experience with that right out of college. And then somehow with the pandemic, it kind of turned into this. And it makes sense. And I'm happy about it. And it all worked out in the end.
So you were doing sales, and then the pandemic hit in 2020. And were you still doing the sales, or were you laid off and had to look for something else, or did you just start dabbling in this on the side? Or how did you actually, the first few steps that got you into what you're doing now?
Yeah, so after college, I probably had about 1 year of like being able to work before the pandemic. And then the pandemic happened. It was pretty like direct sales. It was very much affected by the pandemic. So I wasn't laid off, but the company slowed down a lot. And I think I took that opportunity, and it was January 1st of 2021, like right after the holidays. I was like, let me do this full time. Let me jump in. I had already been doing it kind of as a little hobby, a fun passion project on the side for maybe 3 to 4 months at the time. I was just creating videos, creating TikToks for just pure fun, completely not monetizing it either until later on.
So you're just bored sitting around the house, and like, how did you actually even know to do this? Did you see some YouTube video? You saw something on TV, or what was what led to you just figured out even that you wanted to do this, or it existed?
Every mistake in the book, because I didn't plan on doing it. Like my best friend introduced me to TikTok. It was March of 2020. So like I had probably been like just a consumer of TikTok videos for about 5-6 months. And then I personally just liked shopping on Amazon. Like I was just an avid Amazon shopper. I'm big on deals. Like I like saving money. I tell my friends and family like, oh, I found this promo code and I saved 50%, whatever. And they'd be like, yeah, whatever. And then I would be like, well, maybe random people on the internet want to save money. And so I just started making videos of like the promo codes that I personally was using. And that's really how it started. And then from there, sellers actually started reaching out to me, and they were like, are you like an Amazon associate? And I was like, what's that? And then I found out how to monetize, like way after. I never went into it I was one of those people thinking I could never make a cent from social media. I'm not that kind of person.
And now look at you.
Yeah. And then I learned how to make a cent from social media.
Yeah, you learned a thing or two about how to make a cent. So in 2021, then you started doing it. You figured out how to monetize it. What you grew, I think, was it Deal Cheats or one of your channels to like 1.3 million followers. Was that just organic and just happened, or did you do something to really push that, or did it just start snowballing on its own?
It was probably a year or two of just consistent growth. But I will say there are probably like 2 to 3 very viral videos that gave me those big growth spikes. And then like it's not every day I'm growing like thousands of followers. It's, you have one good video and then that video gives you a couple maybe weeks to months of like a lot of people finding you. And then that adds to the follower count, of course. But I am proud to say I have never, ever run an ad or bought a follower. And it's the one thing I'm really proud of. There's
That's awesome.
or promoting that I have done.
That's awesome. So your engagement is real. It's not like some of these that are doing all kinds of crazy stuff to like try to boost it up. Where you can usually look and you can see they're following 6,000 people or something like that, and they got 12,000 following them. That's always a dead giveaway of this is BS engagement, BS followers.
Oh yeah, and there's too many softwares that just expose you within seconds that you can just plug in a username and see like, oh, this person has like a 50% fake following, and it's too easy to see that.
So it started taking off. Do you remember what that first product that went viral was? What was the actual first product that just took off?
I remember telling my mom, I was like, Mom, we hit 10,000 followers, and it was like the best day of my life. I remember it was a massage gun that was the first viral video. And I think it was viral because at the time, now it's obviously very saturated, like 3 years later. But at the time, massage guns were kind of like new-ish into the market. And it was interesting because massage guns could be sold for anywhere between $20 at the lowest, all the way to like $120 to $200. And still to this day, there are some brands that sell a massage gun that do the same thing as like a cheaper massage gun for hundreds of dollars. If you have a good brand behind it, you can do that. But I think I had a deal, and it was probably around Q4 that took like a $120 massage gun down to like $30.
Mm-hmm.
That was my first viral video, like over 1 million views or something like that. And I grew a lot of followers from that. And that was a big day for me.
This is one of your best ones that went viral. Yeah, we're talking about an outlier here.
Right. Definitely an outlier. There's another situation where I know the numbers more familiarly. So there's a walking pad, like treadmill under deck. That video got about 2 million or so views, and also a deal, a promo code. And keep in mind, I'm getting the commission off the final price of the sale, not like the $120.
Right.
It's a $30 price.
You're getting it off the discounted, what they actually pay, the discounted price.
So for the 2 million view video from the walking pad, I know that the seller made roughly $65,000 in revenue.
And so how much did that walking pad sell for?
I think it was like $300 discounted to $150.
Okay, so they sold about 425 to 450 units off of that. So that you were able to track.
Right.
So yeah, that conversion percent would be quite a bit less than 1%, but that would be to be expected as well. So that's not bad though. I mean, I'm just trying to understand, walk everybody through the process, not to grill you here or anything, but just to walk everybody through the process so they make sure they understand the numbers. So, but that's cool. So you started doing are you buying these products with your own money? These 98, you said 98%, you don't even talk to the seller. I'm assuming the 2%, they send you the product or that you make a deal with them to do something. But the other 98% is this stuff that you're just buying naturally for yourself. Oh, this is a cool makeup, or this is a cool thing for the house, or whatever, and you're just doing it. How does that work?
A lot of times I don't have the product on hand. And something I always say is like,
oh, okay.
I'll tell you if it's on deal, and that's my job, and I'll find a good deal and a good price for you. But not always can I stand behind the product and say, I've used it, I loved it.
Okay.
Quality, and I can stand behind it 100%. That is for the customer to do their research on the reviews and make their own mind up about that. But I will say, like with Amazon, you can use like images of the product. Like I can take the image from the product page and refer to it with that.
So you're not really endorsing the products like as so much as you are just you're finding the deals. You're like the women that it's like the coupon clippers and the people that just they want to buy it just because it's on sale, not necessarily because they need it, but it's on sale. So you have a knack of actually finding these like deals that they probably would have missed, or these crazy discounts or something that they would have missed otherwise. And so that's what they're looking for.
Yeah.
And then like Q4, it's Christmas time. Oh, that'd make a great present for my husband or for Johnny or for my daughter or whatever.
A lot of just doing their Christmas shopping year round, and they'll just like put it off to the side until Christmas time. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So how are you manually finding these, or have you developed some sort of proprietary like system or software, or is it publicly available stuff, or you just scouring the lightning deals and the deals of the day and like, oh, that looks cool, or what's the process to actually discover these deals? Are people reporting them to you? Do you have like a submit your deal here, and some of the audience now is saying, oh, hey, Gracey, have you heard about this one?
Yes to all of it. There are people who submit deals to me. They're like, oh, like, did you see this one? I'm like, oh, very good. That's a great one. Thank you. There are
What about
certain
the seller acting like they're just a stay-at-home mom?
I filter those so well. If I have any inkling that might be the case, absolutely not. Like, and I mean, if it's a good deal, fine. But like that's definitely happened to me so many times. They're like, oh, I found this random deal. And I'm like,
really?
so many times. Yeah. So, I have certain websites, I have certain softwares, I have just like places across the internet that I look. I'm part of like groups with other couponers as well, and we kind of share amongst each other, which is really nice. We kind of like look out for each other. There's just scouring across Amazon as well. Like I'm on Amazon for hours every day, and a big part of this is that you have an awareness of what the typical price of a product is, because very commonly on Amazon, you'll have a product, it's like $25, let's say it's 50, they raise it to $50, they artificially inflate the price, bring it back down, they're like, oh, 50% off. And if I didn't know better, maybe I think that's a good deal.
Amazon has changed some of that now. Now you used to be able to do that, but now you have to get a certain number of sales before you can actually use that strike through pricing now, which is actually the law. That people were skirting the law before, because it's actually on infomercials and stuff. It's been illegal to say this is 20% off or $50 off if you actually haven't sold it at that a certain number of units at that price. And so Amazon is actually now complying with the law and making sellers do that. So that's a little bit hard. You can still do it, but it's a little bit, you can game it a little bit, but still it's a little bit harder to do. So
That's true.
So are you this way in real life? Are you like a coupon deal looking girl, or is this just something you kind of fell into because it's fun and it's like going on safari? It's like a hunt. It's like, am I going to see the giraffe today, or is it just going to be a bunch of hyenas? What is it that drives you on this?
All my friends and family will tell you I am actually in real life a deal girl. Like I am all about, like, there's just something about it. And I feel like other deal people will understand it. It feels like it is a hunt, but when you find a really good deal, there's like a little win attached to that. You're like, wow, like I found something really good. Like whenever there's a really good deal, or like maybe my friend mentioned, oh, like I've been needing this product. I'll keep that in the back of my head as I'm scrolling, looking, and I'm like, oh, like I found this really good deal on this. And normally they're really excited and happy about it. And a penny saved is a penny earned in my book. So yeah, I love looking at deals. If I weren't posting about it, I would just be doing this anyway. So that's why I fell into it. There was nothing that I was really doing that was outside of what I was already doing.
So now you just gave me the keys to the kingdom. I know how to get you to come to all the future BDSSs. I just need to post on some random website somewhere. This is a secret deal that nobody knows about. You have to know this special place, and then I'll make sure you'll discover it. I'll have a little birdie tell you, and then you're like, "Oh, Kevin," but yeah. And then when you ask me, I'll say, "Well, I'll give you 10% off if you come." And then you're like, "Well, what about this one that I found over here?" It's like, "Oh, you found that? How'd you find that?" So now I know the trick. All right, I know exactly what I gotta do.
That's so funny. You're right.
So how did this evolve? So you built this audience of 1.3 on TikTok. You did a little bit on Facebook and a few other places, but primarily it's TikTok. It's the focus, right?
That is my largest platform. About 150,000 in a Facebook group, and then I'm also on Instagram. I think we're around like 86,000 on Instagram. But Instagram was never my biggest primary platform. I'm doing more on Instagram. I'm starting to like it more, but my biggest was always TikTok, and kind of using TikTok as my top of funnel, with just like helping people discover what I do, and then if they like it, then they can follow me on these 5 other platforms or whatnot.
So are you doing anything to get these people onto like your own list or something? Because what happens if, with all this scuttlebutt about TikTok, what if they go away? There went 1.3 million people, and you got your 86,000 on Instagram and the 150 and the thousand and Facebook, and that's what's left. So are you doing anything like an email, like here, sign up for my weekly email that I give my ultra secret deals? It's a secret deal of the week every Friday or whatever, just to get these people, so that if something does happen on one of these platforms, it may not even be TikTok. Maybe TikTok is fine, and it's Instagram. You can actually port them to wherever you want to be. Are you doing anything like that?
So I actually took advice from the best in the industry, Kevin, and I started an email newsletter about a few months ago.
Okay.
My only regret is that I did it too late, right? Like I could have probably, if I had started it, let's say years ago, like think of where I would be now. But I think there are so many things that I could have done. But recently I did start an email list. And basically, if anybody is looking for a deal and they go to the link in my profile in my TikTok, there's a pop-up that is like, if you want extra deals to your email, you can sign up. And basically I send it out 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
Awesome. Good job. Are you doing anything? So they have to find it. Are you doing anything where you're motivating them to go there? Like, look, this is my Friday super deal. That's the only place to get it is my newsletter. You're not going to find it anywhere else. Just to motivate them to do that. Are you doing something along those lines? It's okay if you're not doing it yet.
That they are exclusive deals. And I do say that. They're like, these aren't deals that I post everywhere. These are deals that I'm like, the deals for them, their email newsletter, I make sure to really vet and really make sure they're good and really make sure that, I'm not just posting them willy-nilly. Like they are exclusive in a sense. So
what do you think is going to happen with this TikTok stuff? What's your opinion of what are your feelings?
It does make me sad because me on top of so many other people do have an income stream and potentially an entire career off of platforms like TikTok. This at the very bottom level just expresses how important it is to diversify, because I mean, this TikTok ban situation, it's been in talks for how long? So long. So I think while I don't personally think it's going to happen, maybe some changes will happen if they're forced to, but I don't think it's just going to up and go away. And if it does up and go away, it's impossible that something similar doesn't come along right after it. So as much as I'm not waiting for anything to happen, diversifying is so important, and keeping a list and collecting your audience into something that you can keep regardless of what happens is very important. Like I'm starting to see more videos on TikTok of like, follow me on Instagram in case something happens to TikTok. So I'm seeing a lot of like people just trying to move their audience to something more safe.
It's kind of interesting now when you talk to young kids, 14, 15, 16 even. What do you want to be when you grow up? And it used to be, I want to be a football player. I want to be a doctor. I want to be a lawyer. I want to be a nurse. Now it's, I want to be an influencer.
Yep.
It's this whole industry. It's just like on Amazon. When Amazon opened up their third-party marketplace, they didn't realize that, they had no clue that one day 60+% of their sales are going to come from people sitting in their underwear selling stuff on Amazon. And it's just like when Facebook, when Zuck was in the dorm room starting up Facebook, before that was MySpace. You might be too young to remember MySpace, but MySpace was before that. And there's a porno one before that. That was actually the first of the model that went big. And then MySpace modeled after them, and then Facebook modeled after them, and they didn't think, they had no idea, people are going to be making massive livings like they do now.
Right.
What does it take to be, I saw some stat that most influencers, they have these dreams. It's like everybody wants to play and be the starting quarterback for the Super Bowl. and very few people make it to the NFL. All high school players want to play in the NFL. Then the college players want to play, but only a certain percent make it up at the levels where they can actually make a living at it. What does it? I saw something about on Instagram or somewhere, one of these reports that most influencers, there's only a handful of influencers that make more than $100,000 a year doing UGC or whatever kind of content. What does it take? I think you're in that upper level. What does it take to actually reach that? What are some of the keys? So someone listening, they're an Amazon seller listening to this, and their wife is thinking about doing this on the side, or their girlfriend, or their husband, or whoever. What does it take to actually? How do you set proper expectations?
I think there's like a two-part answer I have for that question. And one is to go into it not with more than just the intention of making money or monetizing. And then the second answer to that question is knowing how to monetize. So the first part, if you go into like, oh, like I just want to make money from social media. I just want to make $1. You can probably do that. But at this point, after doing this full time for 3 years, I have to look at it long term. Like maybe I did have rapid growth, but now I'm thinking more long term of how can I keep it up? How can I do this for years to come? And I have to really consider, once you grow an audience, it's showing up every day. You know the power of building and growing a community. You don't just collect people and like leave them in the dust and hope they stay. They won't, especially with how much saturation there is with everybody creating content, everybody being an influencer. You have to show up every single day. And at one point, money is not enough of a why to show up every day. You have to actually learn to like share your life. You have to actually learn to be authentic. You have to learn to be somebody that people are going to choose over the rest of the tons of people out there. And the good thing is that like you'll find your group, you'll find your niche, you'll find your people, but just doing it for the money is not enough. And you're going to have to love it to a certain extent, especially if you want to do it 4 years to come and build a career out of it. So that's one thing. And then two, just like you said, plenty of content creators, plenty of influencers, a lot of them, and I've seen this more often recently, they're like, I made a little bit of money, but now I have to consider going back to a 9-to-5 or getting a job because I'm not making enough as an influencer. And I think that is where it's important to learn. Maybe you're not in it solely for the money, but you do have to learn how to monetize.
I think a lot of people are in it for the affirmation or the goal of stardom or something. It's just like, the little girl that wants to be an actress or a Disney princess or whatever. I think there's some of that, and then reality hits for some of these people that's just not going to happen. And like you said, I think a lot of people also do it wrong. They model themselves after someone that's successful. I want to be the next Kim Kardashian, or I want to be the next Gary Vee. And at the recent $1 billion Seller Summit that just finished last week in Hawaii, actually the event after it called Level Up, we had a speaker, McCall Jones, who talked about attractive character. And she says there's 54 different character types, and there's 3 components that make up those 54 character types. And if you don't know what yours are and you don't double down on those, your chances of succeeding either as a brand or as an influencer or as a spokesperson go way down. And she drilled in on everybody there on how to do this. And it's pretty cool stuff. And that's something that I think a lot of people miss completely.
100%. And now that you brought up Gary Vee, there's something I think Gary Vee said, and I try to take this advice. And it's that for the people who are looking for affirmation or stardom per se, or just, love from the internet, the higher the highs, the lower the lows. And if you're going to really like take to heart the love that you get, you're also going to take to heart all the hate that you get. And to get love, you have to get hate. That's something I've realized, because if you're stagnant and boring and you say all the right things, nobody it really cares either way. They don't love you or hate you. And then you just don't get the comments or engagement that you probably need. So it's best to not take either. Like appreciate it, take it, fine, but don't take it to heart, because you'll get just as much negative as there is positive.
I agree with that. I always say if you're not pissing someone off, you're not doing it right. If you don't have someone that doesn't like you, then you're doing something wrong. And I have this with my newsletter. My newsletter, I'll get edgy sometimes. I came out with last fall with a couple issues where the subject line was a little edgy, naked girl on balcony, or I showed an ad of controversial ad that some people could see as sexist or whatever, and but I got some negative feedback off of that. But it was very small. But when I got those, I was like, yes, I was actually happy when I got those, because if I had not gotten those, I'm like, man, nobody's reading this stuff, or I'm not. If I'm not polarizing. But then a lot of people are like, dude, keep this up. This is freaking awesome. No one's doing this. Everybody's so buttoned up and corporate. So you find your tribe, you find your audience, and you find your tone. And that's something that's super important that I think a lot of people don't do, or they're not just themselves. I mean, like when you're on camera, I've seen a bunch of your videos. You're really nice in person. You're a little more reserved in person. But on camera, you're just like this bubble that just like explodes, and just full of life and smiles and mannerisms that just it's a magnet that brings people in. Where did you learn that? Did you do acting before, or is that just natural, or you just kind of evolved into it, or where did you get that?
I've always thought acting was fun, but never have I ever done anything actually with it. I've never acted, but I think I'm like I said, I'm a big consumer of TikTok, and within like a couple seconds, I know if a video will do well or not. Like I can estimate, like I can understand what goes viral and understand what doesn't go viral and understand why. So I think part of my quote unquote energy in a video is because I see what works for other people and I try to replicate that. Because also when you're energy is all you have in a video. How you say something is all you have. It doesn't really matter what I'm saying. Of course, it matters to a certain extent, but it's the energy that you say it with, how you say it. That's also sales, the tone, where they say it like this or whether you say it like this. So that all changes the perception of how people take what you're saying. So I try to think about those things, not like I'm trying to like plan out every tiny word or action I make, but I look at what I enjoy watching. I look at what keeps my attention. I look at what also goes viral on TikTok, and I do try to replicate that, because that is what works. And the thing about TikTok is, like, if you see it working for one person and you kind of like understand why, then that's how you can replicate that for yourself. And
you do a lot of stuff where you capture in those first couple seconds, which is important. Stop the scroll. And you're doing like a lot of pointing, or a lot of not jerking, that's the wrong word, but like moving around, or like little cuts with the screen, with the deal behind you, like floating around. So you're like, wait, stop that. I want to see what that said. All that kind of stuff that, so you need to put one of those warnings, bright lights ahead or something. But it works. And so you're modeling that after other people. And then you've come up with your own little style and your own little twist on that as well.
Right. So I think the hook is truly make or break. It's if you don't catch somebody's attention, they're gone. The culture of like scrolling, if you are not captivated in the first 2 seconds, is so real on TikTok. There's always something next. And there's something in our goldfish brains where we're bored within milliseconds. So capturing that attention and stopping the scroll and hooking the viewer, that's all you have. And really, once you hook them, you could be boring for 2 minutes and they're still watching, because they're like, well, I know I stopped for some reason. I wonder what I'm waiting for. But yeah. And then you'll see on TikTok, within the first 3 seconds, people will do it like a little cut of the video, and it's barely noticeable. It's only noticeable if you're looking for it. Otherwise, I'm just like, oh, I'm interested. I wonder why.
Yeah, I have a video. I used to run a whole video production company for television. So I had like 3 full-time video editors. So I see all the little things. Yep. I'm hyper aware of all that stuff. Even when I'm just watching TV, I'm watching The Amazing Race or something. I'm like, they just cut those 2 things, and those don't even go together. These are like 6 hours apart on the road, and they just made it look like they just went next door. And all this kind of stuff. But that stuff's important. So what's the best length have you found for like a video? When you create a video, is it 30 seconds? Is it 60 seconds? Does it not matter as long as it's good? Is there some magic formula to like length?
So TikTok is trying to be more like YouTube, and they're pushing videos that are longer than a minute. But that doesn't mean you can be boring and stagnant for a minute straight. I think if you're going to aim for over a minute and aim for that like longer form where you're going to have somebody just sit and watch you, you better have a captivating story from start to end, or like hook them and be like, this is what I'm going to tell you in the next whatever, the value I'm going to offer you. So in that situation, aim for over a minute. TikTok likes that because they are trying to kind of do the ad revenue thing that YouTube is doing. And they also know that people are kind of tired of constantly scrolling. And a lot of times, like, I know like parents of my friends and sometimes my parents who are like washing the dishes, watching TikTok, and you can't always be scrolling. So TikTok is pushing videos over a minute. But if you are boring and if you don't have that much to say, and if you can't keep it popping for a minute, I think less than 30 seconds is ideal. That's what I like. I like less than 30 seconds. I don't have like a story time that's super captivating all the time. So I like an amazing hook, keep it under 30 seconds. There's another reason for that. I don't know if you've ever noticed that at the bottom of TikTok, there's like a little buffer scroll bar, and you can actually fast forward to certain lengths of the video or back. You only have that option if the video is above 30 seconds. If it's under 30 seconds, people are going to have to watch the entire video from beginning to end again to get to a certain part in the middle. There's no like buffering scroll bar under 30 seconds.
So how long does it take you to create one of these videos? When you sit down, all right, I got this new massage gun. All right, do you have to sit down and like, do you just wing it? Just sit in front of the camera like, all right, and just do like 10 takes and okay, that was the best one? Or do you sit down and like script something out and then plan it out? Okay, I'm gonna put this background. I'm gonna act like this. I'm gonna say this. What's your creative process like?
I've never made a script because I feel like once you make a script and you know what you're going to say, you're going to sound like you're reading. So I've never done a script. I've always been a very big opponent of scripts.
You like little notes, like Post-it notes on the wall behind you, or you just have it in your head?
Most times, like one take and done for me. But I plan it out. Like I know, like I'm like, okay, here's the deal, here's the discount. I'm always like looking at product pages, and I can point out what the major descriptions are, like what the selling points, talking points are. I don't write them down. I don't always word them and pre-plan that, but I know the talking points before. So I kind of plan the video out. I prepare all the images and the different graphics that I'm going to show. And then I very much just wing the words that I say. And part if I'm like, oh, that was bad, but yeah.
How many videos are you? I think you have a team now, right? You have, or you did for a little while, right?
I did. I mean, I don't have a video making team. Everything I do is like I edit my own videos. I make my own videos. I try to think of my own videos. Nothing video related is done by anybody but me.
You have like some people helping on administrative, like helping with the emails and stuff like that, right? Yeah.
I have some help with just like handling like administrative things, like tasks behind the scenes, but nothing that's like really public facing I have help with.
So you're doing all the shooting, obviously, because it's you, and you're just setting up your camera, and you're doing the whole editing and everything. Are you using CapCut or use Adobe or what do you use?
I try to edit everything within the TikTok app because actually TikTok is very similar to CapCut. If it's not TikTok, I'm using CapCut. But a lot of times I film in the app, I edit in the app, and it has all the features I need in the app. I don't think there's any difference within the TikTok algorithm if it's filmed in app or out of app, but I try to do everything in TikTok.
How many videos are you cranking out typically? Do you sit down like, okay, Fridays, I'm going to crank out 10 of them, and I'm going to take the rest of the week and just have fun and go to the spa and walk my dog and whatever? Or do you just like every day I got to get 3 of these done? Or what's your process there?
I wish I could sit down, batch 10 videos, and take the rest of the week and do other things. I so wish I could do that. But with deals, everything is so minute by minute. I could post something and it could be expired in 2 hours. I could post like, I try to see if I can find the expiration date of something before I post it. But that's the thing about deals. It's like you have to post it, and by the next day, you're going to have to do it again. So with this, batching is not really possible. But I wish it was. And for about a year or 2 years, I religiously posted twice a day on TikTok, like one in the early afternoon around like noon to 2, and then another video like maybe 6 to 8 p.m. religiously. I remember being like on vacation in a casino somewhere, like in the corner in front of a window, making a TikTok. My friends are rolling their eyes waiting for me, and I'm like, I have to do it. I was religious about it for 2 years, annoyingly. But since then, since I've diversified and I have so much more than just videos to make, I think I've dialed back on the amount of videos I'm creating and just kind of showing up for the community aspect every single day and posting across 5 to 6 platforms every day. And I haven't taken a day off in 3 years.
What I know, money never sleeps, does it? Money never sleeps. That's what people think. You're gonna go work for myself, and you go from working 40 hours a week to 80 hours a week. But you love what you're doing.
Right. I do.
There's a difference. It's not work. It doesn't become work. maybe a few little administrative things when you guys sit down and do your taxes or something. That's that's no fun. But the rest of it. So what made you decide? A lot of influencers, they just kind of stay in their world. They might go to a YouTube show or they stay in their world. You decided to get actively involved in the Amazon community. You've been to the $1 Billion Seller Summit. You've been to quite a few other events. You're out there. Is that a marketing thing where you're just out there meeting sellers, or are these just cool people that are entrepreneurs you love hanging with, or how did that come to be where you decided to start doing that and it became part of your business and your routine?
So like I said to you, I have nothing to sell. So being on like going and traveling and like doing these podcasts, I'm not sitting here hustling a service or anything, like nothing to sell. So the reason behind it is I think that what I do, it is in some senses lonely because I'm not a traditional influencer content creator, but I'm also not technically a brand or a seller. So I'm kind of in this weird like middle ground, but I found, and I didn't like purposefully go and seek out Amazon events to start attending. I think I met like one or two people and they introduced me into this world, and then all the people that we know now, and one person leads to another, and you know how that works. And then you discover all these events and you see the same people at the events and then you become friends with them. And I think I found this community. It was also a happy accident, but I think that is like first of all, like amazing people that you meet. They're successful. They're also incredibly giving and they like helping each other. And I also feel like I've learned a lot about business, maybe not like the influencer aspect, but I've learned about managing a business, being a brand. I think what I do has such a direct correlation with brands and sellers on Amazon that I have so much to learn from them as well about the entire Amazon ecosystem that I can't get from like other TikTok creators or whatnot. And I have gone to some creator events with Amazon and just VidCon, for example. I've done those and they've been super fun, but I feel like I learn the most at Amazon events and I meet people who maybe I can help them and they can help me. And for example, I wouldn't have an email newsletter if I didn't hear about it from you. So I've learned and developed my business through these mentors that I've learned from at these events. And that's what I get from it.
So where do you see this going? And, God forbid if you got hit by a bus or something, you're the face of the brand. It's hard to sell that too. A lot of the Amazon guys and the people in their space, they're looking for that big payday as an exit. So where do you see this? Do you see this evolving into like an agency where you got a lot of people working for you, or is this just you're just having fun now and I'm just going to ride this out as long as I can? Or what's your long-term strategy on this as an influencer? Going to be like a Tom Brady and keep doing it till you're 43, or what's up?
I'm over here knocking on wood, hoping that nothing bad happens to me.
I hope not either.
That's a really good question. I have never once in my life thought about this as an exit thing. Like I know that in Amazon and as a brand and any other situation, agencies too, like they have the exit in mind of a big payday. But I think with this, I never thought of an exit. So
well, an exit for you could be get a big contract with Maybelline or Revlon or something like that. It's $1 million a year. That could be a type of exit. It doesn't have to be I sold this and I'm moving on to knit crochet. It could be something like that.
Right. So I think I want to build this out I want to keep doing it because I love it. Like that's the main thing. I love doing it. I'll do it until I don't love it anymore. But I think with this, there are other things that I would like to work on. There are maybe I'll build a brand one day. Maybe I'll, work with an agency one day. Who knows? Like I have no idea the other opportunities that will come with this. But one thing that's been clear to me, no matter what other projects I take on, is like, I still want the freedom to be able to do this every day. I want this for myself. I want to keep doing it, creating, and I find joy in it. I'd be doing it with or without posting about it. So it may be a situation of like, I might be 43, like posting deals, 50, 60, I don't know. Like the industry is also changing. So I know that like as how different as it was 3 years ago, it'll be completely different today and completely different 3 years from now. So I'm also pivoting with the times. I have other things that I hopefully will be working on, but this always in the background as well.
So you've been doing well on this. I'm not going to say, but you've told me privately, and stuff. So, are you taking that and like investing in other things? Like, you doubling down? Like, I'm putting in some real estate, or I'm buying some rental properties, or or maybe because you go to all these Amazon events, you're like, man, maybe I would like to start my own little product line, and you know, I've got the money and the know-how and the connections to do this. What are your thoughts around that?
I hope that I've made my parents proud and I've invested my earnings properly, and I think I have. I've diversified with what I have. I have also like you said, a lot of resources and connections. If I did want to build a brand, I have so many good people and successful people that I know I could reach out to and they could help me with it. Yeah, I think that I've done well. I am proud of this house that I just got. It was a long time coming. I had been looking for years, and I think I found a really good one. And yeah, that I think I've been spending it wisely, and I don't have too many Lamborghinis that I've blown my money on.
So
So
you got a four car garage for your Lambos in this new house?
the Aston Martin is coming. So,
Is this your first house to buy?
yes, it is.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's cool. Well, congratulations, you're a new homeowner. And you
Thank
bought
you.
when the interest rates are high.
Yes, but I also didn't. It was this, or just like hope that they drop one day. And
Yeah, but you can always refinance if they drop. I mean,
Right.
you can refinance. I did that when I got my first house. I wasn't in my 20s. I was in my 40s when I bought my actual first house, and I think the interest rate was like 4.25 or something like that, and it ended up going down like 2.5. So I just kept refinancing, and every
Right.
time it cost you money, and you got to fill out the paperwork and all that crap again, qualify again. But every time I did it, I was getting like a $20,000 check, and lowering what I was paying. I'm like, oh, this is cool. So yeah, it's probably going to be short term that you're having to pay that higher amount, but that's awesome.
Thank you.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Kevin King here. You know, one of the number one questions I get is, how can you connect to me? How can I, Kevin, get some advice or speak with you or learn more from you? The best way is with Helium 10 Elite. If you go to h10.me/elite, you can get all the information and sign up for Helium 10 Elite. Every month, I lead advanced training where I do 7 ninja hacks. We also have live masterminds, and every single week. One of those weeks, I jump on for a couple hours, and we talk shop, we talk business, do in-person events. Helium 10 Elite is where you want to be. It's only $99 extra on your Helium 10 membership. It's h10me.elite. Go check it out, and I hope to see you there. A couple months ago, you got notified of something on my newsletter that you got put into some sort of group. It's called the Dream 100. So if you don't get my newsletter, $1 billion sellers, like she was saying, she doesn't have the Lambo. She's Aston Martin and a few other things she prefers. You know, there's a lot of people out there that are in this space that are they're fake, or they talk a big talk, but they don't walk the walk. And so what I do is about twice a month, I announce 2 people, or a person. I say twice a month, I announce a single person twice a month into what's called the Dream 100. And I have 90 of these people chosen already, and we just pull them out of a hat. And then the other 10 are people that I haven't chosen because I haven't met them yet. They're people that are in other circles or whatever, or I don't know them yet. And I announce it. And these are the people I recommend everybody follow. But you were in the Dream 100. How was that when you got notified of that?
So never did I think. When I saw it in the newsletter, I was flabbergasted.
So
Because
you didn't know. I usually I tell people in advance, but on yours, I tell you the night before. But a lot of people, they don't see the email or they don't see the message, and then they get the newsletter. So you got the newsletter not knowing. You're
Right, but you
opening
didn't.
up just like reading it. Wait a second.
Right. So never did I once think that I would be in the Dream 100, because I see the caliber of people that you pick to be in the Dream 100, and they are the best of the best, right? So I was like, never could be me, but it was a huge honor. I was flabbergasted. I was incredibly honored, and I was saying, like, I can retire happy. Like I've won I've won everything, it felt like. So huge honor, incredibly grateful, and feeling undeserving.
No, you deserve it. I mean, that's why it's there. I mean, you've done a lot for a lot of people. You've helped a lot of people out. You give back. You've done a lot of training. I mean, nobody else has done as much influencer training for like sellers and stuff as you have. And you tell it like it is, you know, you warts and all and whatever. I know your friend Kelsey, you've helped him quite a bit, you know, and he's done some influencer stuff and had a few little successes there based on some of your advice. So no, it's well deserving for sure. And it's not just sellers. It's you're you're one of us. You're in the industry. You might not be selling on Amazon, but you're one of the bros. What about like besides just the TikTok stuff? You dabbled around in Amazon Live too, and a few other things. Where do you think that's going? Amazon's having a hard time in China. This is huge. I mean, this is billions and billions of dollars being sold off of live streaming. It just hasn't caught on in the U.S. And it's not that nobody's tried. I mean, Amazon's trying. A lot of people are trying. But QVC's been here and Home Shopping Network for people watching on TV. Those are big businesses. But what do you think what was your experience like with Amazon Live, and what do you think's the problem here? Where's this going?
I started Amazon Live in 2021, kind of similar to the time that I went full time with the content creation. And I have been doing like 2 to 3 live streams per week, like 1.5 to 2.5 hours long on Amazon Live for years now. And so I feel like I'm pretty familiar with the platform.
You're still doing it now too, right?
I do it less often, but I still do.
Okay.
And I think with how much the market is just going after attention, and also the short form content being where most attention is, it's hard to get somebody to sit there and watch a 1.5 to 2 hour live stream, right? It's also hard to get a bunch of people to be here at 2 p.m. square on Tuesday, Like, it really takes somebody who's attention grabbing. You really need some sort of loyalty to that person to get a good amount of people to join that live stream. And you have to be consistent and show up and captivate energy and attention for a long period of time. It's tiring for the person behind the camera, but it's even harder to do it when you're trying to like get people to stay for an hour. People have things to do. They have other things to watch. And it's much more fun to scroll and watch funny short videos. So I think in China, I've seen so much success. And I know we've all seen the video of the girl. She's holding up things for like 2 seconds and she's just rattling off prices and selling billions of dollars. It's not like anybody can do that. There are so many brands behind those live streams that are offering genuinely the lowest price on the market. And that is the incentive for people to be there. There has to be an incentive for people to be there more than just like a smiling face. So people are there for her. I'm sure she's like pretty and showing products, but it's like the low price that people are there for and tuning in for. It's the deal, actually. So why hasn't it caught on here? I think it's like the how to be interesting for like 2 hours at a time and like compete with like short, funny videos. That's one thing. But I think also American culture isn't as susceptible to like being sold to. You know, we're all like sold to all day long. I think the culture difference is like we don't like somebody like hustling products at us. And I think that's a big difference.
What do you think is going to happen with, there's a lot of pushback right now with everybody's going, TikTok's the hot thing, and TikTok shop, and then all this user generated content where everybody's pitching something. And TikTok they're getting some pushback like, hey, I'm not here, like you just said, to be sold to. I'm here to watch funny cat videos or whatever. I don't want to see this. So how do you think they're going to find a balance between that? Or is it like what you just said, you gotta subtly do it you gotta create entertainment that also, by the way, is like product placement, or it pitches things in an indirect way. It's not in your face. Is that part of the key to calming some of this backlash?
I've definitely seen videos on TikTok that are like, here's how to ban the TikTok shop videos from your For You page so you stop getting bombarded with them. Like, I've definitely seen those happen. But I think TikTok shop, I've loved it from the start and I've seen massive growth from it. And I personally have friends making 6 figures a month of just affiliate commissions from just posting TikTok shop videos. So creators are making money, brands are making money, TikTok's making money, they're building out logistics and fulfillment. Like, it is going to get bigger and I'm so happy to see it. I think, like you said, the magic of it. And of course, there are some videos that are going to come across as ads because they are. But the key of TikTok is that they make it interesting. And that's actually what converts. It's like mixing entertainment with a product or showing a review before and after. And then you're like, okay, like I learned something and now I want the product. And it just makes sense that way. And even if it wasn't like a direct TikTok shop ad, even before that, there were plenty of, makeup reviewers, tech reviewers. It's just reviewing a product. But instead of having to go buy it somewhere else, you can just buy it directly off of Amazon. And that content did well before and it'll do well now. And then people have started using AI to like promote with TikTok Shop. That's been really cool too. Just faceless videos. And then I've seen plenty of viral videos with that too. So it is really mixing entertainment with products. And that's what converts and that's why it works.
Have you ever been into one of these big studios? I know they have them in Indonesia and a few, and I think they just opened some TikTok in LA, where it's like this huge, it's like a creator studio where it's like 200 little booths in there with all the lights and all the props and everything. Have you ever been into one of those?
Yeah, so like Amazon Live has one in New York, like the TikTok Shop is like building one. I know they have one like in Nashville, LA, New York. Yes, they're so interesting. It's like a cute little booth setup. Looks great, but it's like this big and just like full of products out the wazoo. It's great. I wish I had one in my house. I wish I had like 10 little.
So what do you do with all these products? Are they all, you use them all, or the ones that if someone's paying you, or you're just doing it for, that 2% that, are you reselling them? Are you donating them to somebody? Or what do you do? Or do you just have a garage full of, like, when you move to this house, you're like, okay, I need an extra truck because I got to haul all this crap from all my videos over here.
Why do you think I got a house? Store all this. So if I have like stuff like skincare, I do try it to like form my own opinion, but also not every skincare product is going to be a good fit. I have my favorites and I'll try it to get my opinion, but I can't have a 50 product skincare routine. So if I can, I'll give them to friends. I will donate them if I can. A lot of times after I finish the content I have to make with them, then I'll try to donate or sell if it makes sense too. But donating and selling is like a full-time job within itself. Just like take the pictures and list the product, and all of it takes a lot of time. And a lot of times if a product is like a bestseller, for example, I do want to just keep it in case, Prime Day comes up, sale days come up, TikTok needs it. Like I have that product to talk about if I have to, and I know what products they are that keep popping up, are on deal every sale day. There's a lot I have to keep, but that's part of the job. And every content creator who talks about products will know they have a stock room / storage unit of products. PR products they buy, get sent, all of it.
So if something you really like and it's starting to run low, are you like messaging the company like, "Hi, do you have anything else you want me to do? I would love, if you have this one and this bronzer over here, I'd be happy to do a video for you." Does that ever happen?
That definitely happens. I know. Percent. I mean, that's a good like win-win scenario. Like the creator needs the product, the brand wants the content, you make the content, you get the free product. Like it happens a lot and it's a win-win. But I will say, and this is to the brands out there who may not know this, a lot of times there's like the offer of like, oh, I'll give you a free product in return for content. It's really important to know as a content creator, you are paying taxes because that product is considered your income. So you are actually getting taxed for the value of that product. And if you're getting like a $500 whatever, you're paying taxes. So the creator might be paying money in taxes to work and create content with it. So for brands, it's not always incentivizing to like gift products and stuff.
Well, yeah, if a brand's doing it right, the rule in the U.S. is anything over $600 you got to pay tax on. So the first $600 of gifts can technically be tax free. But if you get, this is what Vine reviewers, it's one, sometimes people on Vine reviews are like, why isn't nobody taking my product? It's because you're the 77th person that's done a weighted blanket for toddlers, and nobody wants it anymore because they don't want to pay the tax on it. It adds to their tax. Some brands don't actually, you have to get a 1099. So, but Amazon or somebody's going to do that. The big companies are going to send you a 1099. You got $6,900 worth of stuff. So that goes on your tax return as income, less $600. Other brands, small mom and pop ones, they probably don't report that. So it kind of goes under unless you're technically supposed to report it as a person, and some people do and some don't. But when it comes to a sellers, what are some of the things that just annoy you that they're doing wrong? Like what can you tell sellers that are listening? Hey, I want to work with influencers. You're like, guys, don't do these 3 things. Do these 3 things. What would you say?
One is about outreach. One is about expectations. Yeah. So I'd say a lot of brands and sellers are like, I'm not getting any response back. Nobody is responding to my email. These influencers suck at communicating. I always say like the more information that you give them up front, the more that they don't need to go back and like 10 emails like, oh, what's your product? What's your deadline? Like, what's this? What's that? There's a lot of back and forth that you can save by just being upfront and be like, hey, this is who I am. Here's my product. Here's a link to it. Here's what I'm looking for. Here's my budget. Here's my timeline. And are you interested? Yes or no? Like, if you just put everything out front and then I can be like, interested or like, nope, I'll pass, then I don't have to go back and forth and figure out what's going on with you. And that gets really tedious with how many emails could potentially come through. So, know what you're looking for, know what you want, share your product, assume that you're going to send them a sample so that they can either create content or form an opinion about it. And that is like my thing about outreach. And if you're like emailing influencers, you're like, I'm looking for an influencer, like, are you interested? Why would you expect anyone to reply to that? Like, I wouldn't reply to that personally. Because that anyway, so the second one is about expectations. And I would say there might be a couple brands out there who expect virality. They maybe expect like, oh, it's like a 30-second video. How long could it take? Snap, snap, hurry it up. I want it tomorrow. Or they might be like, oh, you didn't go viral? How dare you? This didn't work. This was a flop. I wasted my money and you are a bad influencer. Something like that. So the expectations are, the goal of it is to get offsite external traffic. You're going to want to get sales, of course. And this is all just, again, it's not like a one-off situation. You're going to have to do it long-term. You're going to have to, try working with different people, try different methods, try like a flat fee versus a commission-based, and try different things. It's not like a one-off, I'm going to go viral and sell thousands of units and be done with it. It's not like that. So just to go into it knowing what it is and that it's amazing and it does all these things that PPC could never do. But it's not like a magic, like viral, amazing every time.
There you go. There's the keys to the Magic Kingdom right there. Straight from Gracey Ryback. Gracey, this has been great. I just looked at the time like, we could keep talking. I know for quite some time, but get killed by the editors. They're like, man, this is too long. But I hope everybody's enjoyed this. Gracey, it's been awesome having you on here. It's always fun to chat with you. And thanks for doing this and for coming on and sharing.
Thank you for having me. This is a great podcast. So I'm just honored to be here.
If anybody wants to find out more, reach out to you or send you a nasty letter that says, you're not a good influencer, you didn't go viral, how do they do that?
Please don't. I'll cry.
Or then they want to send you congratulations for being in the Dream 100. There you go. Let's turn this into a positive.
I'll accept that. Please keep those. Please. I've already. My email is contact@dealcheats, DEALCHEATS.com.
Awesome. Contact@dealcheats.com. Gracey, appreciate it. Thanks again for coming on the AMPM podcast.
Thank you.
It's always a blast when I speak with Gracey. She's just always full of energy and full of information and just loves to give back. Hopefully you enjoyed this as much as I did speaking with Gracey. We'll be back again next week with another awesome episode of the AMPM podcast. In the meantime, don't forget, I've got some words of wisdom for you. And if you haven't signed up yet for my newsletter, BillionDollarSellers.com, BillionDollarSellers.com. Replays are also available at the $1 Billion Seller Summit that just happened last week in Hawaii, BillionDollarSellerSummit.com. If you want to get that, BillionDollarSellerSummit.com. All right, the words of wisdom this week. If you look around at the people in your circle and you don't get inspired, then you don't have a circle, you have a cage. If you look around at the people that you surround yourself with who are in your circle and you don't get inspired, then you don't have a circle, you have a cage. See you again next week.